Well, welcome everyone to another Mindful Monday. We're all on a journey, and sometimes those journeys have challenges. However, you do not have to face those challenges alone because at Mindful Mondays, we believe that we can do more together, and we are here to support you holistically and without judgment. So, thank you for joining us. And I would like to start by thanking our sponsors, DonnA Meador, Legal Shield, the Ben Method Academy, for making this Mindful Monday episode possible. Now, I hope you are ready to reclaim your joy and love and find out what the real love story is, because we have with us today the creator of the SMART Dating Divas and the author of Dating It's Not Personal, DonnA Meador. So, at 66, DonnA had navigated the complex journey of love and self-discovery. She knows that true love starts from within, and it's not about following scripts. It's about embracing your feminine wisdom and reclaiming joy. And she has this unique ability to sense the energy behind your choices and stories that your heart holds. So Donna's here to help guide us to attract soul-to-soul connections that truly fulfill us. So Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
What a pleasure. I'm all about mindfulness. I'm all about it. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, no, thank you. And you look absolutely beautiful today. So thank you for coming. So tell me, how did you start? I know you're considered the dating intuitive. How did that journey become about, how you became a dating intuitive?
What a journey it is, isn't it? Life, such a journey. I had somebody recently say to me, yeah, but look at you. You met your now husband. You met him when you were only out there 6 months dating. And I said, yeah, but you didn't hear the backstory. The backstory when I went out dating in my early 40s, mid 40s, no idea what I was doing. I read all the books. See all the books here? If you're watching and not listening on a podcast, there's plenty of He's Not Into You, Men Are From Mars. I read all the books. I did the homework. I did the research. I like to say, Laura, that I earned my doctorate in dating.
I would say you have.
So what I did was I started to write my own book because something was missing. And it was that journey that brought me forth to writing this book, beginning it, watch this, in 2004. Why? Because it felt really personal. It was painful. I was not having fun. What are you supposed to do when you're in your mid 40s, right? So I started writing the book. No idea, no concept that one day I would actually be selling it.
Right.
Never thought about it. I didn't even know if I would ever publish it. I mean, this is 2004. Don't publish it for another 10 years, 2014. And actually don't start selling it and marketing it till 2024. So 20 years, this is sitting on the shelf. I'm handing it out to people. I'm not selling it. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, wow, you're like awesome. You're like this. You're like a woman before her time. You thought about writing a book. You thought about publishing it. Everything sometimes takes a long time. But it was the 3 years during writing this book is when I met and married my late husband. So that's how it all started to happen. Like I started to figure out, I'm not valuing my worth. What am I doing that sends the signal to the men I was dating that said it was okay to put me on the back burner, okay to not pay me any attention, not make me a priority? What was I doing that was saying that was okay? And how many of us do that, Laura?
Oh, many of us. Many of us.
No judgment zone here, gang. No judgment. I'm a woman's dating coach. I specialize in women because I understand the trials and the tribulations firsthand. So it took me over 3 years to meet and marry my late husband. The book is now a love story about how I did that. And guess what? Even though the book I started writing, 25 years ago, dating never goes out of style. Maybe the apps change, but that's about it, right? The stories are still there. We don't value ourselves. And this is the thing that I learned about myself. How did I start valuing myself? And it came in amazing ways. I write about it in the book. And from there, it was like It was an evolution. It evolved. It evolved.
Right.
Now I meet my late husband. We're together for 10 years. He passes away in 2016. So he's my late husband, but I have a now husband. That's why I'm making the correlation. Because there are widows out there are divorcees out there going, what do I do? How do I find someone like the last one? Or how do I stay away from somebody like the last? Like, those are all the questions. That's what I help people do, or women do, in my Smart Dating Diva membership. We help discern what you're feeling. Are you allowing them to put you on the back burner? And what does that look like? And how can we change that? Because it all starts in here, your head, and in here, your heart. That's where it is. Has nothing to do with out there, does it?
No, it's true. And yeah, I am a widow. I got widowed in 2004.
Mm.
But I don't know if you, and had just turned 37. So I was, close to that time, but I don't know if you happen to notice when you said 2004, 2014, 2000, like, do you notice you have like a 10-year, there was like this 10-year pattern going.
I did notice that because I'm looking at it in hindsight. I can see it. But in
Right.
'04, I didn't say, oh, let's sit on this for 10 years. No. And back
No,
then,
but it's just ironic how it kind of something changed or shifted like every 10 years.
yes. And that's absolutely true in life, isn't it? We go through decades and we no longer can wear the same clothes. Not that they don't fit us, but we're not aligned with that clothing anymore. It's fascinating. And so the whole '04, '14, '24 was an evolution for me to value myself, to value what I had to offer to women, to value my message. I mean, I literally had to stop carrying the book with me because I didn't know how to sell it. I only knew how to give it away. So I stopped carrying the book with me. And when I would talk about it, somebody would say, hey, can I have one of those? I go, yeah, go to Amazon. Because I didn't know how to sell it emotionally. I'm a giver, so I want to give it all away. But
Excuse me. Yeah, many of us are that way too.
many of us, especially healers and women who are givers, right? We don't know how to do it, so I just copped out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just not going to carry it with me anymore. Send people to Amazon, and now I'm coming on beautiful shows like yours to help women understand their value. It all starts within. So the S in Smart Dating Divas starts with self. That's where we begin, and the membership, breeds that and helps women talk about their dating dilemmas. It's a whole lot of fun and a lot of groundbreaking stuff. So it's really cool.
I would say, given what I've seen of you and your personality, I couldn't imagine it being anything but fun.
Has to be fun. It has to be fun. Or why would you do it if it's not fun? And that's what happened to me when I first went out dating before I met Pietro. I'm like, I'm not having fun. So what is happening? Because I think you should be having fun when you date.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
should.
how I came up with the name of the book. Actually, I was on a date when I came up with the name of the book because I realized it wasn't personal. There were so many great men out there that I just wasn't aligned with, but they were great men. They just weren't great for me. And so when you start to look at it that way, then you can go out and have fun and enjoy the process of dating.
Yeah. So you've actually kind of discovered the formula to dating. When did you actually know that you had that formula?
Yeah, I tripped over it because so think about this. Like, I'm writing my book, and it's really about and hilarious dates I went on. You can read about them in the book. You can't make this stuff up, right? And yeah, it's like one time a guy, so then I start writing the book, but it's not about, I'm not seeing the bigger picture. I'm in it.
Right.
And I didn't discover I had a formula until I decided to go out and date again after the loss of Pietro. And I thought, well, I had read all the books, but I wanted to read mine again because it had worked so well the first time. Let me refresh my memory. What did I do? And that's how I started to put together. Holy mackerel, I got something here. Sort of like your '04, '14, and '24. It was like,
Right.
hey, I did this and I did that. And I did that. And so I brought it together. I made it tangible for myself so I could understand what I did and I could share with other women what I did so they could do it too.
Wow. I was like that. Yeah. All that is quite the journey. And I think when you said value, I think that's another thing we struggle with because, like you said, you gave away the book,
Yeah.
and sometimes I think we have trouble putting a value on ourselves. So you had a book, but you have trouble selling it to somebody. Would you say that like there's correlation that maybe you just weren't valuing yourself enough to say, hey, this is mine, I wrote it? And
100%, Laura. I did not value myself. I didn't value myself. I didn't value what I had to offer. I didn't understand how to do that. And things were happening, and I talk about it in the book, where uh, men literally just put me on the back burner. And I didn't understand why it was okay to call off a date last minute, or, all the scenarios that we go through. And of course, as you get older, you start to go, what? This is like a dating maze. What do I do now? What apps do I get on? How do I know if there's a red flag? Like, there's all that, right?
right.
And it was the journey. Here's the thing, though. It was the journey of going out to do it that helped me get hold of my value. And what is amazing, and I once again, it was like in hindsight, when Jeff reached out to me, because I met him on a dating app, okay, my now husband.
Okay.
And I asked him one time, when was the first time? Because he actually knew on his second date he was going to spend the rest of his life with me. Yeah, all right, that's not the norm. And somebody in one of my other interviews said, well, okay, you met them, he knew on the second date, that's not the norm. We don't want women to go out and expect to be found and cherished within 2 days, okay? I go, yeah, but it took me 3.5 years with Pietro. So let's talk about the process, right? And I had worked on myself and stood up for myself on the date when I was in my 40s. I walked down the aisle with Pietro when I was 50. He passes away. I'm now 57 when I become a widow. Takes me a little while to get back on my feet. And I meet Jeff. He reaches out on the 4th of July. And we have a date that Saturday. And he said out of his own mouth, he was watching me from a window. I didn't know that. As I was walking toward the restaurant doorway. And first of all, he thought I was more beautiful in person than I was in my pictures, which is keynote to everybody. Always have current pictures, which I did. Never be older than a year old. But what stood out for him was my confidence. And that was something I learned along the way. When you learn to say, thank you, but we're not on the same page, and you start to take hold of that, that's a different conversation than, oh, please, somebody, please take me out. Help me understand my value, which is where I was at in the beginning, right?
Right.
And when I started to be able to say, that's okay, thank you, but I don't think we're on the same page, that is very empowering.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I was going to say, I guess I would be one of those people that was kind of out of the norm, because I remember I met my late husband on New Year's Eve, and we had went out on one date. And by the second date, or the second week of knowing him, he had asked me to marry him.
Yeah.
So, and we were happily married. We were happily married
Right.
for over 14 years and 3 months. But yeah, it
Beautiful.
wasn't one of those things where you go for, like really long time. And it's like, it was just something like deep inside, just felt like you knew.
Yeah. And there is that. And that's and sometimes women, when they're on this journey, especially now, because we have a lot of baggage, right? There's a lot of experiences we're going through, and then they're going through experiences, and people are trying to figure out what feels right. This is what I help them do, because we cannot use our head for matters of the heart. For if we do, we will bring about chaos and confusion. And remember, our heart has a brain. In fact, you can Google this. Don't ask me for statistics, but our heart sends more messages to the brain than the brain sends to the heart.
Being a heart-centered person, I can believe that, because that's kind of where I live.
That's
Most
right.
of the times I get people telling you, you're not using your head. I'm like, again.
Yeah. And the thing is, 100%. Now, how old were you when you met your late husband?
So I was 22.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a beautiful thing. Do you have children, Laura?
No, I'm a dog mom.
Okay. Yeah. So when we're typically, when we're in our 20s or we're getting out of college, we're looking for a mate that's going to father our children, help raise a family. We're looking at family stuff. Typically, that's typical, right? It wasn't for me either. I never had children, but And I did have a short-lived marriage when I was in my mid-20s that lasted 5 years. It was all very beautiful. It came, it went, but then I encountered some sicknesses and health issues, and so life gets put on hold, right? But when we go out, when we're in our 50s and our 60s and our 70s and our 80s, and believe me, it never goes away, we want something different. And we also haven't been out there, so we don't quite know what's going on out there in the world of the dating apps, and can you tell if you're being scammed? And there's a lot of sensory things happening. It's like walking into an airport for the first time, right? It's like you're hit with all the senses. So that's what I help them do, because it can be murky. It can be murky.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was glad you had that, kind of that experience, because I was always curious about. I guess I was fortunate enough that, well, I was military, so I had already done dating and stuff before I went in, and really, I was knocking on the door for his roommate, because that's who I had met. Because we go, and it was just as friends, but it was someone to go dancing with, because I love to go dancing, and Randy had answered the door and invited me to a Tempe block party because it was New Year's Eve, and it just kind of went from there. So it was like totally accidental. But it's a whole different world after you lose all that, and you've been with someone for so long. You lose all that, then you have to restart. And then it was a year after he had passed, again on New Year's. A friend that I was, they were both, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between them, but on New Year's is when I had decided I was not ready to curl up and die. And I had this New Year's party. So everybody that I worked with, I had invited them over. And one of my friends said, well, hey, I have a family friend that's been staying with me. Is it okay if I bring him with me? And that's how I met my fiance. So I met them both on New Year's Eve. They're both 5'10", heavy metal headbangers, but a lot of similarities. It's very, yeah.
Well, I'm a dating intuitive, Laura. So I believe in the laws of attraction, and I think how beautiful is that you finally sort of said, yeah, okay, it's time to start living again. And the timing was perfect. And similar things happened with Jeff and I was still in the midst of it. It was a year and a half, and I had started to date after a year. So exactly like you, it was very formulaic in that sense. About 8 months to 12 months, I'm going, okay, let me think about this. What does it look like if I go back out there and date? And I was not looking for a permanent relationship. I was looking to enjoy the dating of a few good men. And I was very upfront about that. It was very beautiful. They were on board with that. And then 6 months after that started, Jeff drops into my inbox, and I'm like, whoa, what? But I tried to tell him, you can be number 4. Like, I'm okay. Like dating, we're not, dating is an action word. It's a verb.
Right.
So when I was dating in my early 40s, I was dating. I didn't stop dating unless there was a conversation that said, hey, I'm in love with you, or let's be exclusive. And so dating is an action word. And so I was dating, and I was very clear about that I was dating. And Jeff just kept saying, oh, yeah, in his head, he's probably thinking, oh, yeah, she's mine. Yeah, he was really smart not to tell me. But it probably took me 8 days to realize I was head over heels in love with him, which, by the way, Laura, as a widow yourself, and there's going to be widows watching this, I had to it was an interesting coming to terms with things, that it's okay to love again, because I'm going to love differently. I wasn't looking to replace my late husband. And now I like to think all 3 of us live together very nicely. Nobody fights for the bathroom. It's all very, pleasant. And Jeff never once felt like he was put second. He was never in competition. So.
Yeah, that is an important distinction, because it's hard on your family, especially when they're trying to be around to support you. And one minute they're telling you, oh yeah, you're too young to curl up and die. You need to get out there. But then when you have someone that's like, oh, I'm not ready for Randy to be replaced. I'm like, not being replaced.
Yeah,
right. That was my older life. This is a new life.
Yeah.
Yeah, two different things.
Yes, good for you. And it is interesting, the dynamics between all the people who are involved with the first one, and what that looks like as we move into the second one. Like, it's one thing, they want you to date, they want you to go out there and enjoy yourself, but they're going to want you to fall in love. It's like, well, wait, we didn't ask you to fall in love. And so that created dynamics with my late husband's children, And it became a very curious place for me. I didn't know how to navigate that. Didn't know how to I didn't know how to introduce them to my new man, to my old friends. Like, I didn't know how to do any of that, and I tripped over myself and stubbed my toes a few times. But you know what? There's a lot of forgiveness, and I think when we allow people to love on us the way they know how, without expectation, we can get through it with a lot less pain.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but yeah, I lost some of them, which is fine. It's just because they didn't know how to handle it or communicate anymore with me because it was not there. It was just, but I think people have to handle things in their own way.
100%. They don't know now. Because now you're making them look at what would happen if their spouse passed, or there's a whole thing. But good for you for not taking that personally, for allowing people to sort of float in and out as they can handle, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. I won't say it didn't hurt and it didn't baffle me, at first. It is rather, painful, but it's just like, yeah, I had to learn. It's like, it's not personal. They just didn't know how to keep that relationship going, after that point. So
yeah, and we don't know either, right? So we're just going, okay, yeah. So yeah, and it is painful, and I did a lot of energy work around that to help release that pain, and understanding again that they don't mean it. It's not like they don't want you to be happy. They just don't know how to navigate it, and so you let it go. I mean, what are you going to do?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am kind of curious about your experience with the dating app, and also I know you have an interesting story that as to why you have the red hair. But we're going to have to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
I used to say we need a lawyer in the family. Having Legal Shield is better.
For less than $1 a day, you get access to vetted lawyers.
Want to create your will? Call Legal Shield. Got personal contracts to review? Call Legal Shield.
Do you need a vetted law firm to write a letter? Call Legal Shield. Warranty questions? Call Legal Shield.
For less than $1 a day, it's a no-brainer. Shield yourself from costly legal expenses. Call Legal Shield today.
You feeling stressed, burnt out, disconnected, and just stuck, and you want your mojo back? Hi, I'm Linda Joy Ben. I'm an international speaker, best-selling author, and transformational catalyst, and founder of the Ben Method, which is a revolutionary approach to healing, self-care, and transformation. Using my Ben Method, I've also healed my own body of cancer and autoimmune medication-free. Now I work with others, empowering them to reclaim and come back into alignment with their soul's mission, and to restore their balance and freedom in their life, and then jump out of bed and go, wow, I feel fantastic. I love my life. I have the best life. And then spread that happiness out to their loved ones and everyone that they come in contact with. If you would like to reclaim your mojo, let's connect, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Hello, I'm Julie Ann, TEDx speaker, author, and founder of Influence Publishing. Writing a book is a journey of self-discovery that uncovers the deeper truth of your soul's calling. Books are not products, they are sacred contracts. Your book is a portal to your soul purpose. Are you ready to reclaim your voice and write the story only you can tell? Visit YourStoryIsYourPortal.com.
So Donna, before we get to the story about the color of your hair, which I think is always cool, it sticks out, the dating app thing, because I'm personally, I'm glad I didn't have to go to those, because I know TV's TV, but a lot of things that you see can be very scary. Like you said, there's scammers and everything else. What was that experience like for you?
Well, let's remember that there's scammers out there who could be sitting next to you at a bar.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you walk you to the car. I mean, there's a million different ways. Scammers have been happening since the beginning of time. So it's just a matter of flexing the scam alert muscle that we haven't been flexing, right? We need to flex that muscle, and common sense is a lot of it. So And when I went out dating in my 25 years ago, they had Match.com and eHarmony, the basics, and they didn't call them apps because they were on laptops.
Right.
But now it's the same thing. I mean, Match is still around, and eHarmony is actually, and quite a few others. And they change all the time. I mean,
they add more and more depending on your, your background, your age, your, farmers, whatever. It's like they have an app for everything now.
And we have an app for everything. And by the way, I did it all when in both times I did it all. I went to speed dating events. At the time I was in New York City. That was loads of fun. I did socials. I did the Match.com back in the day. This time I was on Silver Singles. Jeff was on, I was on Our Time. He was on Silver Singers, and unbeknownst to us, they merged those two apps. And that's why I say, when people tell me I want to meet somebody organically, I say, look, you can't get more organic than, I don't know how many millions of people on a dating app, and then somebody floats into your inbox and it's a match. I mean, seriously, like, Jeff saw my picture. He got one of those generic emails that said, here's your next 9 matches. And he's about to delete it. And he's about to delete it and clicked it open by mistake. And now he's about to delete it, and I catch his eye.
There you go.
He's like, well, let me see. I could probably see what she's about. And he clicked it, and the rest is history. He wrote me a thesis. Most men don't read bios. And I will tell you, for any of the ladies out there who think that making the first move is a smart move, let me just share with you a little bit of fake news, okay? Those apps that say a man can only reach out to you if you reach out to them first, in theory, might make sense in your brain. But if you understand that men who are just looking, and I'm saying just looking, putting quotes in the air, maybe looking for friends with benefit or just someone to connect with, or they're not that particular, they will swipe yes to every single one. So that when you, the woman who's in charge, swipes, it's an automatic match. This is one of the pitfalls that I want to share with women to help them understand. And I actually had a guy on that app tell me that's what he did. But it was perfect for me. We were on the same page. We were not looking to fall in love. We were looking to enjoy each other's company. He was very good to me. And he's like, yeah, I just swiped yes to everyone. And I went, boom. That's why there were men who, when I did click and I got the match, I never heard from them again, because it really wasn't a match. So you understand what I'm saying? It's like a gated community. Is a gated community really security? No, it's the illusion of security. Come on, you know this, Laura, right?
Right. Yeah. So what do you recommend then? You wait till the man contacts you?
Well, first of all, if anybody listening to this wants to find out how I met and married 2 amazing men in a row, they can go to smartdatingdivas.com/ABC. I literally have the 3 pillars, Laura, that I literally used myself on how to discern who was serious and who wasn't. I followed it to the letter of the law. Not right away, because in the beginning I was like just having fun. And when I got tired of all the noise and the putting me on the back burner and wanting to embrace my value and understand what I was worth and step into confidence, I followed those rules, those pillars, to the letter of the law. My theory is absolutely let the man reach out. Why would you want to be the one who's constantly going, oh, please pay attention. Please, I'm over here. Please, I'm over here. When men, because their nature is to hunt and conquer, right? That's their nature. Mm-hmm. They like what they see. So we already have what do you call it? A leg up, I guess is the best word. We already have a leg up when a man comes after you, because he's like, ooh, I want me some of that. That's the very first step. Why would I filter? I only did it when I was bored, quite frankly, and would poke and all the apps give you these little emoji things you can do, but none of it was serious for me until I got serious and I followed my 3 pillars.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you have to tell us the story about the hair.
Oh, okay. This stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so it's really fun. If you go onto my YouTube channel, some of the videos there you will see me without red. And then some of them you will see me with the red. And it's sort of a timeline now because just a few weeks, and I know you'll be able to relate to this, after Pietro passed, I went to go get my hair done. And I'm staring in the mirror and I don't recognize her. She's a different person. She's changed forever, but she looked the same. And that really bothered me. And I asked my stylist, you need to put red in my hair. And she gave me pushback at first. And I said, if you don't do it, I'll go home and do it myself.
Something they don't like to hear.
Something no stylist like to hear. And at the time, it was just to help me process. So I would have an outward visual look when I looked in the mirror that there was something that took place in my life. And it turned into my brand. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, most I've done is like colors, but I've always gone solid or highlights. But that is definitely different. So I love that story, though.
Yeah, and it started off as a little peep through brown hair at the top, and then I started doing it myself and I got more. But I love it, and red is my favorite color. And when people look at YouTube, if I have brown hair, it's before Pietro passed, and if I have red, it was after. So it's interesting. It created a timeline.
Yeah. Well, it looks good on you though. You wear it well.
Thank you.
So, what do you have? What's coming up? What do you have planned for the next 10 years?
Oh, I love it. I can't, it's interesting. Like I said, when I started writing the book, I never visualized a business. I never thought that I would do anything with it, but it was always on my heart to write this book. And one thing leads to another, and here I am. So I am now I can't shut up about helping women understand their value when it comes to relationships. So I created the membership. Right now we have a weekly call and women get to talk to me about their dating dilemmas. And I'm putting together a Date Smart Now course. And the S in SMART stands for self. So that's why that's so important, because at the bottom line, becoming whole is the true love story, right? That's where I'm with my women. It's not just, I'm not here to go fix you up with somebody. I'm here to help you understand the amazing creature that you are and how to discern a relationship and accept when you are in a powerful relationship that is there to support you. Oh my gosh, it's like wind beneath your wings. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this right now if Jeff wasn't over there supporting my every step, emotionally, financially, all the ways, because he wants to see me get my message out there, right?
Right.
So I'm doing YouTube and I'm on podcasts and I'm growing my SMART Dating Divas membership, and I'm writing a few more books. It's super fun because it's so satisfying when I help women. And I have such success stories too of women who followed my pillars this time and now are married, right? Well, last time they sort of bended the rules. They put the pillars on the side. They wanted to do it their way. And I'm always saying, look, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not even telling you to go out and date. I am saying that if you want to date and you are serious about finding a long-term companion, then I have the formula. I've been there, done it twice.
Yeah. And that's credentials in itself.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a good distinction, because normally when you see something about dating, you think of somebody that's like going to match make them or set them up. And
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So how do you help women reconnect with their feminine wisdom in today's dating landscape? And I mean, that's a lot to keep up with because it does keep changing. It's vastly different from when we first started.
Yeah, I when I first started my membership is very, very new. Like, it's really super new because there's a lot of software and things you have to get into place, and super new. And it started off to be a Q&A dating dilemmas. If you have a problem with the date, come talk to me. And now that I'm stepping into my spiritual wholeness of being a dating intuitive, I've been bringing forth my guidance. And I asked the women last week, actually, this started off as a Q&A, but are you okay with me offering my wisdom and my understanding of life? And because I push a little bit in a gentle way, because I know I'm trying to give them what they say they want. But sometimes what we say we want and what we are doing are two different things. So I keep bringing them back, right?
Right.
And I asked them, are you okay with that? And they said, one woman said, I'm addicted to this membership. I love showing up every week. You help me stay on track, right? And the other one shared with me that she can't even I want to honor her privacy, but I do want to share the story. She has a mentor, and she said, but I can't tell her that I'm going out to date because she says she wants me to work on myself. And so now, side note, I'm going to tell everybody here that I know so many women. Number one, it's good to work on yourself, 100%.
Yep.
That's number one, because you have to, it's personal development. I mean, if you're not figuring out who you are and what you're about, then you're going to end up with the same relationship you had the last time if you were divorced and you're looking for something different, right?
Right.
So, but we're now 10 and 20 years older than we were. I mean, if Pietro walked through the door today, I would not be in love with him the way I was when I was 50. Because I'm a different person now, right? So I love him for who he is now, and I love Jeffrey for who he is now, and it's all now. It's all now. Talk about Mindset Mondays. It's all now.
Right.
So I explained to her that I knew women that put themselves on hold to work on themselves only, but then when they went back out to date, they were turned upside down again because that wasn't part of the equation. But life isn't like that. So, if we take a monk and we say, you've just spent 25 years praying and being in meditation and seeking in your soul, and that's beautiful. And now we're going to throw you into, the world where there's New York City and hustle and bustle and all this stuff. What's going to happen? So if you can date while you're working on yourself, then we can talk about it in the membership, and I can help you discern what's going on. And that's how the shifts happen, so that people understand you don't put your life on hold to date. You date while you're living, while you're having a life, right?
Yeah.
While you're dealing with your sick parents, and while you're raising your kids, or while you're going on vacation with your girlfriends, you're dating.
No, and that does make a lot of sense. The only time I think I would see, I guess, somebody needing to work more on their own self and their self-value is if they're someone that have fallen into those manipulative relationships, and you need to build that strength up so that you don't keep attracting and keep winding up in that same situation.
Beautifully said. And I'm glad you brought that up. I am not a therapist.
Right.
I'm a dating intuitive who, by complete instinct and feeling my senses and my experiences, that I bring to the table. But 100%, I told them last week, I said, you're going to run into men who have been abused, both emotionally, physically, men out there too under that. We are dealing with all that. So we definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of your alignment, where you're at, if you need to go to therapy, if you need to have whatever that means for you, and then talk to me about, hey, I met this guy, but here's this, and maybe I can help you see a red flag way quicker than you can see it. Okay?
Yeah.
In fact, I would say I would be able to, right? But yeah, you're 100% right. I'm not a therapist, right? I don't have those credentials. The doctorate I have is a doctorate in dating, and I'm the one who trademarked it.
No, and that's true, because when you have someone that's like impartial, not someone that necessarily knows you already, they can have a better perspective and see those red flags and not put their own interpretations in on it.
Yeah. And then the community, it's so wonderful because now they talk to each other and they're like, hey, I hear you have a date coming up. And, and that's always fun because we're if we're not going to date now, when are we going to date? Like, what are we waiting for? Now, typically the women I serve are 50, 60, 70, 80 higher. I've got a 36-year-old who's working with me now. But typically it's the older women who have been either divorced or widowed, right?
Right.
And it's okay. But and when they say, well, I'm not ready, and this was mind-blowing to me, actually. When I first opened up the membership, 75% of the women in the group said, I'm not ready to date. And I thought to myself, well, what did you join the membership for? What?
For encouragement to date.
That's right. They wanted the encouragement to date. And I will say the best time to date is when you're not ready, because you should not have the emotionalism attached to going, oh, are we getting married to this one? You should not be walking down the aisle when you're going on dates. So if you're not ready to date, then go on a date, because all you're doing is meeting somebody you don't know. You're not picking out curtains. You're like, just learn to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions about dating that you frequently encounter?
Oh, hands down, I hear that there are no good men out there. Hands down. And I'm going to say there are plenty of great men out there. Plenty. They get a bad rap. Men get a bad rap, for sure. I met a lot of great men. They weren't for me in the long-term personal, the way Jeff scooted everybody out of the way. But there are so many great men out there. And you know what? Men want the same things we do, Laura. They want to be seen. They want to be appreciated. They want to be supported emotionally. It's a beautiful thing. Let men be who they are. Let the alpha male step up and be the guy. That's all they want. They want to be your guy, right?
Right.
And not a day goes by that I don't tell Jeff how much I appreciate what he does, the long hours he works, so I can sit here and be on calls on my Mindful Mondays and help women understand their value. Men want to be seen and heard just like women do. And so that's what I get to help them remember and understand.
Nice.
Pretty heavy, right? I mean,
yeah.
Because we come to the table with these experiences and right away we want to say, and I hear it all the time, men are jerks. There's no good men out there. They're all jerks. And I'm going, wow, let's focus. Let's bring it inward. So do I have a few minutes to share?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
When I went out dating, before I learned to have fun, while I was writing my book and reading all the books, I got to a point, and this is where I help my dating divas. I got to a point where I said, okay, what am I doing that makes them think that what they're doing is okay? Right? What am I projecting that says it's okay if I take the train to come see you, or I meet you, or it's okay for you to discard our conversation or forget about the date that you said. Like, what am I doing? And I reflected, because when you do that, amazing things happen. So what happened? I went from being the victim to being the victor, because I was willing to look inside. That's painful.
Mm-hmm.
That's painful. But I always tell everybody, I'm like, hey, listen, dating is the #1 personal development course you will ever take, and it's the least expensive. You have to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And if we spend time, and this is what I help my women see, if you want to be blaming all of them out there about all the terrible things they've done and why you're having a lousy life, you will never be the victor. You will always be the victim. So your choice, where do you want to sit? Right? Because it's not just about dating anymore. It's about all of it.
Yeah. I was going to say normally a common denominator in there. They're not all that way, but when you see that, it's like, yeah, like you said, it can be painful, but you got to look at yourself and what you're doing.
And and by the way, how refreshing. How refreshing when I actually understood I could say no thank you. Whoa, that was huge. I mean, you would think, it sounds almost juvenile, but I remember, and I was in my 20s when I thought this, so I must have thought it when I was younger too. that if a man asked me out, I had to go. And I think, I don't know, is it because I was a 70s girl? I was born in 1959. Like, was it the indoctrination of how we were brought up? I don't know, but what's fascinating to me now, so think about that. In the 70s, they came out with the commercials, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. It was the perfume commercial, right?
Right.
He started believing women's lib, we can do it all, we don't need you. Now watch this. When I ask women in my classes, who here does not want a man to offer support and to be there for her, maybe even pay the mortgage, maybe take on the burden of the bills? Who doesn't want that? Anybody? Not one person raised their hand. And I had a woman in there who was 7-figure earner. She's a realtor in California. And she said, I don't need a man to do that, but I want to be with a man who wants to. So when we squash what our amazing men have to offer, we start creating the dilemmas that are going on. So I help them clean that out a little bit over time. It takes understanding. It takes looking in the mirror. It takes conversation. But we're in the no judgment zone, so that's what we do. There's no, it's all in a private group. It's like, and it fills my heart so much, to help women understand their value, because I didn't understand mine in my early 40s. Now, when I was 20, I was like every 20-year-old, like, but you go through life and you grow a little bit and you gain footing and maybe you join the military, or maybe you get a job and life starts to look a little different. And then you get knocked down, you get sick, you almost become homeless. I'm talking about my life. It's like, and then you feel like nothing. You feel like you really have no value.
Right.
You're doggy paddling in the pond and you're trying to just stay afloat. And then you start all over again. And that's what I'm here for. Those women.
No. And that's good. It so many valid points. We've all gone through it. Almost. It's like, yeah, definitely. So we have a few minutes left. What advice would you give to those that are struggling to embrace their authentic selves in dating?
Oh, that's so good. Let me just sit for that for a moment. And what advice would I give them? If we focus, thank you. If we focus on what we have to offer and not what we're not getting, right? So I always say, look for love where it is, not where it's not. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. That would be the advice I would give every person listening to this call, because I do believe in the laws of attraction. I do understand how our energy works. And when we start focusing on and bad-mouthing what we don't want, that is what we get more of. That's what we get more of. I mean, science will tell you that, right? Focus on it and you'll get more of it. So we can go into it spiritually, scientifically, every which direction. But that's how I live my life. I focus on what I want, Laura, not what I don't want. And it takes that muscle. You have to really flex the muscle and remind yourself and catch yourself. But that would be the advice, and that will change your life. That will change
it changes your life, I think, on all levels. And that's why I always try to tell people, to focus on the positive. It takes a conscious effort to find the positive and not get into all the negative and the woe's me thing, but find the positive out of it.
Yeah. So not only the positive, because so I believe that, right? I always say everything happens for me, not to me.
Right.
But now I'm taking it one little step forward, going, focus on what you want. So when you say, oh, but I don't want to do this, or I don't want to get sick, or I don't want to have I don't want the airplane to be delayed. Like, now we're focusing on what we don't want, right? So I'm taking it literal, and I go, wow, I look forward to such an easy trip. And I love this. My body is so healthy. I just love, I'm focusing, I'm literal about it, right? So I help my women do that as well. And so good for you, because Mindful Mondays is important and there for women who are trying to figure it out, and you're giving them a stepping stone. So good for you, Flora.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That is always my intention. So people don't feel like they're alone. They're supported. we're all different. We resonate with different people. And so that's why I love having wonderful guests like you and others to come on, because we're all trying to get people to live a healthier, happier life. But, we all have different ways about doing it.
Together we do more. You know that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so good. What a pleasure.
So this is your free gift, right? We go to the smartdatingdivas.com/ABC.
Yeah.
And definitely from what you've described with those pillars, that's definitely an important part.
Yes. Yes. And I would love when they come on board, anybody who grabs that, eventually tell me that they discovered it on Mindful Mondays. That's just huge. I would love to hear that. And yeah, it's the pillars I use to literally set myself up for success in relationships. So.
And of course, if you want more wonderful content, she does have her YouTube channel, Smart Dating Divas.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun because Jeff does a lot of those with me, and he's a hoot.
I was going to say I haven't had a chance to see a whole lot of them. I know I did subscribe, but I need to catch up on those. But that's fun that he actually does that with you.
Yeah, we give the male perspective, and sometimes I tease them and I poke them and I do things. I mean, it's really a lot of fun. So, but they'll get great information because it's real stuff.
So it's more than just for women; it's for men too.
Well, no, it's for women. We're
for women, but
dating coach, and he gives me the male perspective for women to hear. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then your membership, they can get a hold of on your website, right? smartdatingdivas.com.
Yeah, it's just perfect. And it's really funny. A little side note: men do watch our channel, which is really hilarious. And I get complaints. I get complaints about my hair. And I say, but this is perfect because you're not going to, I mean, if I was single, you wouldn't ask me out. We wouldn't be a match. And that makes dating easy. And that's why it's not personal.
And that's judgy anyway. We don't judge here.
And then it's so funny. Other women start yelling at them. What are you talking about? Why are you even saying that? I don't say a word. I just go like, whatever.
People get into that. I'm like, I don't have space for all that negative energy.
And my book is on Amazon too, Laura, if anybody wants to read about the love story of how I married Pietro, because it helps women straighten their crowns. And that's
absolutely. Yeah. Is there a link to that on your website?
No, there isn't. But it's on my YouTube. It's everywhere on my YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely have to check into that because I'm not in the dating mode, but I would still love to know about that story.
I've had married women tell me they really appreciate it. So just FYI. Anyway. But
I'm sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. I'm so glad we got this time to talk together. And it's beautiful what you're doing. I'm happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. So everybody, if you have been struggling with dating and you need to know the pillars, you definitely want to connect with this lady. She knows what she's talking about. But DonnA, I want to thank you so much for joining sharing all your wisdom with us and joining us today. And I want to wish everybody a mindful Monday, and we will see you all next week.